Homestead is Cleveland Facility's fourth map, which is based on Mr. Windy's very own, well, Homestead. It features a barn, two abandoned houses, a shed, garage, and even a maze. And while this map has tons of unique locations, it suffers from the lack of balancing from both sides of the facility, the survivors, and the beast. Hey guys, it's Radical here, and this is my first ever video like this, so expect major flaws in the script and potentially some facts that are either wrong or outdated. But if y'all enjoy the video, be sure to like and subscribe. I feel like I might be able to hit a certain milestone before the year ends if I lock in, so your support would be greatly appreciated. Now, before we get into the balancing mess this map has to offer, let's take a hike down memory lane. This map, as stated before, is the fourth map to enter Fleet Facility, being released on October 18th, 2018. Upon release, this map was loved by many Fleet Facility players, including myself. I mean, come on, it was primarily outside, had a cool barn for its time, a maze, it even had a 3-story house if you include the roof, which you should because it was implemented into the gameplay. This map was also the first map in the game, I think even to this day, I guess besides the back rooms, which was actually real, to be based on a real place and also ditch the usual computer model, which, you know, fits the realism of the map since it's, well, literally based on a real place. It's based on Mr. Windy's house. However, if we ignore all the good parts about this map, which don't even matter too much in our current day standards, you get this. What I'm trying to say is, you have yourself the worst map in Fleet Facility history. And yes, even worse than backrooms, even worse than laboratory complex. Those maps aren't even that bad. I kinda glazed how much I hated them in my ranking video, but they're not even that bad, I can't lie. And while I did rank Homestead an 8.8 out of 10 in my ranking video, I was oblivious to the balancing issues this map had. What I was aware of was the double jump mechanic, which plays a vital role with the balancing of this map. However, I even stated in the video that I won't factor that into my ranking, mainly because that would have been an easy 0 out of 10. This brings up two eras of Homestead, the pre-double jump era and the post-double jump era of Fleet Facility. For now, we're gonna ignore those. Let's talk about the main balancing issues this map currently has. I'm mainly making this video for the population that actually likes this map, so I can shine light into their eyes and show them why this map isn't as great as they see it. And of course, while people are usually blinded by nostalgia when it comes to the classic maps, I think this will change at least someone's opinion that is watching this video. Now, let's talk about one of the main issues about this map, that being the locations, specifically locations like logs, maze, and the barn. Let's start off with logs. This location features, well, logs, and a nice little computer enclosed in a small space in the middle of the map. Not really the middle of the map, but in the middle of nowhere is a better way to put that. The worst part about this location, you only have one exit, which is also considered the entrance. And while the entrance is pretty opened up, your surroundings aren't, making it hard to tell when the beast is approaching. Of course, they have the light, but regardless, this can easily see you. Now, of course, my logic here does exclude the fact that you can double jump onto the computer if it is spawned, which is an unintended mishap, which can't be fixed without revamping the entire location here. So for that sake, we're gonna not count that. But besides that, this place is one of the worst spots to hack in, especially in such a dark map where dark gemstones excel in. While you can escape a sprinting beast, it's definitely a tricky place to hack in, making it completely beast-sided. And don't worry, my fellow pros, we'll come back to this spot later to change the tides from beast-sided to survivor-sided. For now, let's move on to the maze, and I think we all understand the balancing issue here, but I'll state it anyways. This maze, located in one of the 4 corners of the map, features both a computer and a freeze pod. Unfortunately for the survivors, while a maze can be memorized, if you're far into the maze and you've unluckily locked eyes with the beast, you can say bye-bye if they're using runner or even seer. Even if they're using stalker, you might be cooked here because of the beast's natural walk speed increase, but there's still hope compared to the others. The main issue about maze is its campableness. Yes, I just made that word up. And its lack of escape routes. The free spotter maze is so easily campable, especially when paired with footsteps, since there's only 2 routes a player can save, which the beast can easily camp and focus on the other. The computer is even worse, being in a medium-sized room crammed far away from both entrances/exits. Whether they have runner, stalker, or seer, you are dead if you're caught in here. There's nothing you can do. Towards the end, I'm going to give my thoughts on how maze, along with the entirety of Homestead, can be balanced, so stick around for that. But let's go to the final location, which is barn, but this one will be a bit quick. Barn is a 3-story location with computers on the 2nd and 3rd floor, both in direct eyesight of each other. I think you can see the problem here. These two computers are very easily campable, and while most people don't do it, I've seen people camp double barn as soon as the round starts, and it's very annoying to go against. However, while annoying, I actually think barn is very survivor-sided. It has so many escapes, dark corners to hide in, and annoying hay bales which you can use for jukes and even hiding spots. Since I want to make this segment as short as possible, I won't go into the balancing of barn too much, but in conclusion, I do think it's a pretty survivor-sided, but a double barn can either make or break a game as survivor if a beast camps it. The second balancing issue Homestead has that I'd like to mention are the vents, and these genuinely might be the worst and most unbalanced vents ever created in the facility. Especially when compared to like the 4 vents in facility that are all right beside each other that are completely fair according to the devs. Yeah, I think these vents in total are somehow worse than that, and that says something. Whenever I see a vent in game, I usually rank it based on how easy it is to capture someone who's camping the vent, and there isn't a single vent in Homestead where you can actually capture someone who's paying attention, even with the presence of the Stalker perk. Vents like the one at Garage, the 2 at the main house, and the one at Shed are prime examples of vents that are impossible to capture a player camping at those, especially if there's a computer in those rooms. Garage was originally made as a vent that would be a one-time use where you crawl out of the garage and can't get back into the vent. However, it didn't take the facility players long to figure out you can just jump backwards into the vent to get back in it, making it a very annoying vent to go against. I still don't get why some of these vents even exist or haven't been modified to become balanced in the soon-to-be 8 years that they've been in game since Homestead was released in 2018, not 2017. I know we're approaching the 9th anniversary, but this is ridiculous if you ask me. And yet, the vents aren't even the worst part of Homestead. I'd like to give that title to the abuse of the double jumping mechanic, which is the third thing I want to talk about. And like I said earlier in the video, there are 2 eras of Homestead, the pre-double jump era and the post-double jump era. The pre-double jump era was bad enough, but most players weren't really skilled enough or didn't have, the amount of knowledge that we do to notice these balancing imperfections mentioned above, nor were they able to abuse them as much as they do now. The post-double jump era decided to make the map even worse by practically moving the need to use any set of stairs or planks in this map. Set examples are being able to double jump on Brown House, White House, Garage, and even parts of Brown House and Garage you shouldn't even be able to do. I'm talking about this. I can't even do it. I probably could, but I can't. Double jumping has also led to some easy exploitations within the map, like being able to jump to the highest part of barn by flicking your camera, something abusable in other spots of Homestead as well, so this is a reoccurring problem. Something like Stalker perk, which removes the jump penalty from the beast, can barely even go against a good team that can abuse these double jump aspects, which I find crazy because Stalker is a perk I like to use in either small maps or maps that have lots of windows or obstacles to jump over, like arcade and airport. And the worst part about the balancing is that recently they actually made Homestead more beast-sided, which is great, except it's specifically to the 8 people that used the Seer perk on this map. All they did was remove I think 4 or 5 lockers. That is the only balancing Homestead has received. I'm genuinely in disbelief that the developers haven't done something about this map, and unfortunately it keeps getting worse. Remember how I mentioned logs being completely beast-sided? An entire mechanic in-game, being the double jump, changed the tides completely and made it entirely survivor-sided. All you simply need to do now when you spot the beast making their way to you is double jump onto the computer, and then congratulations, you're not on top of the logs, which is an easy place to juke the beast as they have to jump to you to get to certain spots, otherwise they have to take the long way around. Okay, I need to catch a breath. I think you guys can finally understand where I'm coming from. Homestead is a balancing mess that needs to be changed as soon as possible. If I was unsuccessful to change your opinion on Homestead, then that sucks for me. But hopefully everyone can finally see how terrible this map is when nostalgia is put aside. Now, I can't complain about an entire map without suggesting my own fixes, so here they are. Personally, I would remove the ability to double jump when Homestead is voted. And because that is such a far-fetched suggestion, don't worry fellow viewer, I have many ways to go around. Assuming option A can't be done because of its major gimmick, I think option B, increasing the height of the roofs around the maps, or inventing spots that allow you to double jump to these roofs would fix this map tremendously, making the stairs actually useful again. Besides the double jumping, here's some suggestions I have for the entire layout of the map. The main one is the maze, which should receive an entire revamp. This revamp should include places where survivors have to jump to slow down the beast in there. It should also feature a few vents around the entire maze, but in spots that aren't hard to go from one side to another. What I'm trying to say is they should not be able to be campable, they're just a quick 1 second get out of jail free card. If anything, change the computer spot to have a vent in the same room that can allow for an easy but short escape, as that room is completely B-sided and it's not fair. I also would love to get rid of that garage vent, or specifically actually fix it to where it is a one-time use event. And if that can't be done, or if it can be done, regardless, I think that spot where the computers should be moved closer to the front, maybe even like where I'm standing right now on screen, just to prevent this vent from being abused too much if the beast comes from the windows or the roof for whatever reason. I also feel like the vent at barn should be like moved closer to the door, or the walls separating the vent and the door should be removed. And I feel like the what's it called, like the little grass there should be pushed more towards the back, because someone can easily vent out as soon as the beast comes and go straight up there, and now the beast has to run around the entire barn just to get to you. Even if they go inside the barn, it's probably going to be the same time. I would also like to remove that bush or grass hedge, whatever that is, that allows you to double jump straight to the roof, which is like right beside the exit. But I feel like that spot is way too survivor-sided. If that exit's open, your teammates are like, you don't know if your teammates are safe or not, you can just camp up there. You realize they've all escaped. Even if the beast camps at exit, you can easily double jump over their head, or you probably even fall and run past them into the exit because of how close it is. And if they try and go up there to get you, you just run past them. It's pretty unfair if you ask me. Next, I would replace the shed vent with a window, kind of like what they did with Haunted Mansion with their shed, which leaves more risk of having to have the door open instead of leaving it closed with a safe escape. I feel like that just makes it so much more fair, because that vent is so overpowered. You can close the door and you'll feel safe. Granted, Stalker perk exists and you probably won't have enough reaction time to someone actually bomb Stalker, which makes the window even more viable now. You can see if someone's coming through the window, or if someone's coming through the door because the door is now open. So I think this one is it's good for both parties, I guess. But it's specifically to remove the vents, so that is very survivor-sided. Now, the two vents at the brown house, get rid of them. I don't know what to replace them with, or if they should just be like open like doorways, but get rid of the vents there. I don't care if the walls are opened or not, just get rid of the vents. I hate those vents. The fact that people camp there and suicide until the game ends is so annoying. What I mean by suicide is that they will camp there until the game ends and just lose. They will not care. And that is annoying. The fact that there's spots like that is so annoying. And with that, we come to an end. I hope you all enjoyed this video. It was a different type of video that I'm curious to see if I want to revisit. I am so out of breath from talking for 22 minutes straight. Oh my gosh. For you guys, it's probably not 22 minutes. For me, it is. But if you guys do agree with my balance changes and my entire argument in general, hit that like button, subscribe, let me know in the comments if you guys agree or disagree with Homestead being unbalanced. And of course, I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.